The transfer window has finally shut. We're done for the season, regardless of whether we like it or not. We're done. It's over. So, was it all worth it or not? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you are getting to sit down and watch or listen to this. My name is Josh. Welcome to my channel. This is the Southampton Way podcast channel. We cover all things Saints, all things Prem, all things footy, really. Mostly Saints related. Welcome back. If you are new, welcome. Thank you so much for the support recently. There's a specific video I want to thank, and it's a brief clip of me from the last sit down I had talking about Charlie Alcaraz going to Everton and just briefly explaining what type of player he is and what type of player to expect back in the Premier League, and just putting opinions out there for Saints and Everton fans to see how they feel about the deal. And it's by far and away my most viewed video. Now I've done interviews with Matthew Letitia and Ricky Lambert before. The Ricky Lambert one was my highest liked and viewed video at the time up until the other day, and it's just been blown out of the water. This video now has got over 7,000 views and over 500 likes and over 60 comments, all from Everton fans. Thank you, honestly, thank you. You lot, I was not expecting anywhere near the type of support, or I wasn't expecting anywhere near the type of response that got. Sorry, my lighting's a bit crap. The response that got, and I do feel very grateful for that. So thank you very much. I'm not going to cover Everton today, so if you don't want to watch this all the way through, you don't have to, but thank you anyway. Also, for the 50 new subscribers from that video, welcome and thank you for subbing. If you would like to support the channel, Saints fans, football fans alike, if you like football content, it's free down there. Just click it, sub. If you like the video, it will ping me onto other pages as that's shown. And people who like the same stuff as you will get to see the same stuff you're seeing. So that is really helpful. Honestly, it really is. It's free and it takes 30 seconds to do it. So thank you so much again. Yeah, and let's crack into this one. So today I just wanted to run over the January transfer window. I wanted to put it out there how I feel about it, because I was quite vocal on social media about how angry I was with it. And now the dust has settled by a day or two, I just want to talk about it. So yeah, let's do that today. I'm going to cover the players that went out, the ones that I think were possibly a mistake, and the ones I think that were good. Especially the late deal with Adam Armstrong. So yeah, let's talk about that. So let's kick it off. Start of January, Southampton. I think we were all hoping that a few things were going to happen. I think we were hoping that we were going to trim the squad, especially by cutting a dead loan deal with Cornet. And that would have given us, and it did give us, a Premier League loan spot, because as we all know, you can have two loan spots from the domestic league that you're in. One was Leslie Ogachukwu, the other one was Maxwell Cornet, and he was actually a deadline day rushed deal beforehand. So he barely kicked a ball. We barely saw him. When we did, he spent half of the time offside. He was never fit. It just wasn't a good match. I wish him well, but it never worked. So we cut that deal short. Took a bit longer than I was hoping to, but it still happened. So then we had a Premier League loan spot free, which we didn't use. So just to cover that early doors, we didn't use it. I do think it's a bit silly of us not to use it, because there's players out there who need loans and who would fill the spots that we would be after in the Premier League. I can give you examples if you like. I'm going to give you one now. Adingra at Brighton, who comes off their bench most weeks, was being talked about going to Sunderland on loan. So if there was talk, Brighton were clearly not completely opposed to letting him go on loan. So why we didn't ask to develop him to the end of the season, because he's the sort of winger that Sulemana is. same sort of player, and we all know that Suleimana's got bad hamstrings. So if he can't play, then we're stuffed. Because he offers us so much. So yeah, Adingra would have been a great move, I feel like. There's obviously other players, like there's experienced strikers out there that didn't move on deadline day. They didn't get to move. So you've got like Taiwan and Awonyi from Forest. Obviously Danny Ings gets linked every single time, but he's still at West Ham. Yeah, I just feel like we could have done something with that Premier League loan, but we didn't. Anyway, moving on. The very, very beginning of the window, I was quite pleased to see that we loaned out Ronnie Edwards to QPR. I think that was a really good move. For those who don't know about Ronnie Edwards, you will know about him soon enough. Whether it's next season or season after, he is immense. He's one of England's top prospects, especially at centre back. And yeah, watch this space with Ronnie Edwards. He's a serious, serious player. Other outgoings, we had Ben Brereton Diaz go on a loan with an option to buy. I went over this at the time. That's embarrassing that we publicly have admitted how poor that signing was by getting rid of him one window after signing him, because that has an obligation or an option for 10 million, which I think they will take, to be honest with you, because Sheffield United like him and he's already scoring goals for him. So he's a little bit of like not a cult hero, maybe that's too far, but they love it. They do love him up there. So yeah, it's. I mean, you could look at it as good business because he came in for 7 million. We've got rid of him for potentially 10. There's going to be a loan fee involved as well, of some sorts. So yeah, there's that. There was the absolute shit show in the middle of January where Shay Charles became a Saints player again as we recalled him, and then by the end of the week, before his feet had even touched down in the South Coast, he was still a Sheffield Wednesday player because they'd renegotiated a higher deal. You could argue it's savvy business, but for me, it was unnecessary business because what's a $250,000 to us? Realistically, what is a $250,000 to us as of right now? Shay Charles is important to Sheffield Wednesday this season, and he'll be important to us next season if we leave him to develop, right? So my idea was if we'd record him, which we did, so I saw we'd record him, I thought, okay, I can deal with that because if Les gets called back or if, for example, Downs is injured or not playing, which has manifested itself, then the only real defensive midfielder we've got is Les Ogachukwu. So that's a lot of pressure going with 14 games left for a player that, you know, isn't all that experienced in the Premier League. I know he's done it a little bit, but this is his first full proper season. So it's a lot of pressure. Shay Charles is a really good option and we can definitely get him some minutes. But no, we just messed about with him for a week, unsettled him. He didn't know whether he was coming or going. And yeah, to say the least, he was clearly relieved that he was staying at Sheffield Wednesday at the end of it because we just kicked up a fuss for no reason whatsoever. For £250,000. So well done, whoever was in charge of that, you fucking idiots. That was ridiculous and unneeded, in my opinion. If you wanted him back, you should have kept him. If you didn't want him, leave him. And let him come back next season. Anyway, yeah, rant over on that one. Then we close in on deadline day. So we don't actually sign anyone of note apart from in January, at the beginning of January, we had a pre-contract agreement kick in for Wellington. I've already made my feelings known about him in the video before. I think he's superb. I hope I've not been sold a dream, but he looks great. And we also had a midfielder come in on loan from Rennes, Albert Grumbach. I hope I'm saying his name right. He does have an option to buy, I believe. I don't think it's an obligation. I think it's an option to buy. I think it's 12 million euros, which is about 9-10 million real money. I called it sterling. So yeah, time will tell on that one. 6-month loan, not really too much risk involved in a 6-month loan, which is why I was a bit annoyed, a bit pissed off that we didn't use the Premier League one because you can finance those deals to suit you. You know what I mean? Especially if a player needs to play football. So yeah, bit frustrating that one. Yeah, time will tell on Grombach. He plays the Matty Fernandez role. They played together. It seemed to work well enough. Will it develop enough to work week in, week out? We will see. Is he going to replace Matty for next season? Probably. But yeah, we will see on that one. Then yeah, deadline day rolls around, and all I could think of was we could probably do with a left-sided centre half, a proper solid one. Given the fact that Yanni B made a few mistakes. We know Harwood Bellis can play in the middle, but he's made a few mistakes. Jack Stevens is injured, and now it looks like Harwood Bellis is injured, and Nathan Wood is also injured, and he likes James Beer on the right side of defence because he likes a fullback on the right side of a three, so that right-sided centre back can overlap his fullback on the right as well as defend. So I don't mind that. But yeah, the idea would be we could do with a bit of defensive reinforcement. He clearly doesn't want Bella Kotchap involved. I totally understand on that one. I get it. The only thing that's a bit confusing about that is why is he featuring on the bench if you're not going to play him? I understand that. I think it's a red herring and kind of like it's a show. Like, oh look, he's fit enough to be on the bench, so you can sign him because of the whole failed medical at Hoffenheim and the heart scare and just the ridiculous, dangerous journalism from the Germans that day. If you know, it was a known problem. It was a problem that was like while it'd been under control for ages, and they decided to run a story that he had a heart problem, which is, in my opinion, that's damaging journalism. I would be really upset if I was in Armel's camp on that one. I do feel for him. That's out of order. That is out of order. You don't need to do that. Yeah. So there's that. Deadline day rolls around. We needed a centre half. And in my opinion, we needed another attacking option because Sulemana is brilliant, but he doesn't stay fit. Diblin's only just coming back from an injury. We don't know how. This is the first injury he's had in the first team, so we don't know how he's going to fare in his return in terms of fitness. Cameron Archer's got a groin problem. And Paul Nuachu, we know obviously he's only just started playing 90 minutes, and whether he stays fit again, you know, because he picked up a knock against Liverpool in his first game he played and all that sort of stuff. So you don't know. You don't actually know. How he's gonna fare in terms of fitness and injury. So I would have loved us to get another striking option. We're not going to see Ross Stewart play football again this season, I doubt. He's not even with the first team yet. Funnily enough, he's probably an Ivan Juric type player, but I don't know. I don't see that happening. So yeah, we needed an attacker and a defender, in my opinion. So at the beginning of the day, or the day before, actually, we get the story that we've contacted Strasbourg about a left-sided centre half, Abakar Silla or Silla. I'm going to say Silla, okay. Abakar Silla, let's call him. 22 years old, looked to fit kind of the profile that we was after. It was a 6-month loan reported with no option, which was, again, it's no risks, so fine. Then, as it progresses, it seems like the deal slowed because we wanted an option to buy, and that was being negotiated. These things happen. Then it comes out that Strasbourg are interested in Sam Amayor, and it turns out it's not just a loan. It's a loan with an obligation to buy for a package worth up to 10 million euros. At the time, I'm hopping, and I'm still a little bit confused by it. I am hopping mad. What are we doing? We're letting a young player go that, frankly, every time he stepped on the pitch has shown that he's worth a punt. He's brilliant. Like, I loved him. I thought he was great attitude, X, Y, and Z. And then a couple of days later, this is why I didn't do the video. And then a couple of days later, the dust has settled, and it turns out that Sam and his agents wanted more money. This happened in the summer with Jaden Makoma when he went to Brentford. You can't expect much more. We paid $1.5 million to get the two lads out of Tottenham a couple of years ago. So realistically, you look at it, we've grabbed two lads from Tottenham for $1.5 million for the pair of them. We've sold them both for near on 20 million quid. I'm not going to complain at that. I think that's decent business. Simple as that. I think that's decent business. We did do some incomings, I will say, for the under 21s. It was, I cannot find their names. There was Victor Udo, I believe his name is, the Nigerian, to replace Sam Amo, and there was another chap from Gustepe. I can't remember his name. I'm sorry. But I do have to say also we signed another player for the 21s in January, Kai Sander, centre half. It looks exciting, but we're not going to see him for a year or two, maybe. But he's one for the future, so that's one. Sam Amo wanted more money. He got more money. He's got his move. 5 years at Strasbourg to start with. They're a Chelsea-owned club. We can't forget. Um, yeah, be interesting. I believe the manager's Liam Rossini. I could be wrong, but I think the manager's Liam Rossini. So he's got an English-speaking manager, which is good. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how he goes. Really. So I'll be keeping an eye on it. Obviously, he's linking back up with Sekou Mara, who's his old teammate. Best of luck with the future, Sam. I met him once. He's a nice kid. Seemed like he had a good attitude, nice guy. So we'll see. We'll see how he goes. It's a shame he's gone permanently. But the even worse thing was we don't know how to structure a deal because in the last dying hours, the centre half that we were in for, the deal collapsed, which for me is inexcusable. If you're having conversations with a club and you want to leverage that deal, you link that deal. So you guarantee yourself a player. Either you don't get the player that you want from us and we don't get the player we want from you, or we both get what we want. Instead, they've got what they wanted and we haven't. So we've really messed that up, in my opinion. Really messed that up. Stupid business. In terms of the way the deal's structured. So we then saw Gavin Bazunu heading off to Belgium to get some minutes. Good luck, Gav. I love that move. It's probably a similar level of league to the Championship. Gets him some minutes to the end of the season at a big club. They'll have a lot of expectation because they are a big club in Belgium. So, yeah, I think for him to go and play in front of expecting fans every week and then come back, it'll only do him good. So I'm not going to complain at any of that. Now, let's talk about Adam Armstrong, shall we? So, Adam Armstrong, he made a very, very, very late move to West Bromwich Albion to rejoin or relink up with his former manager from Blackburn, Tony Mowbray. Superb to see him back managing, by the way. Brilliant. Love that. And it's a great move for West Brom after losing Corberan. I really like Tony Mowbray. What he was doing with Sunderland last year before he fell ill was brilliant. I thought he was superb, and it was such a shame to see him sidelined for a reason like that. But he's back in, all the power to him. Absolutely brilliant. So he's linked up with him. He played really well for him at Blackburn. I think he scored 40 goals for Blackburn at all in, which is not a bad return for a couple of seasons that he was there, 2 or 3 seasons. So I think that's it might have been even more than that. It might have been even more than that goals for Blackburn. So yeah, I think he did really, really well under Mowbray. I think he's only going to do well again under Mowbray, and I like this move. I like the way it's structured because it's only 6 months, and we will get him back next season, all being well. But I like the move. I've grown to like it more than now than I did when I first heard it. I thought this is just mental. Like, why are we doing it? But then when I see it's only a loan, I've kind of calmed down a little bit. So, swings and roundabouts. I think he's going to do really well. He needs minutes. I mean, I look just looking at his stats this season. It's just not good. It's not good. I mean, he's played 20 games, and out of those, he started 15 of them, and he scored 2 goals. He's scored a goal every 626 minutes with an average of 0.1 goals per game. It's just not good. It's not good reading. He's not a Premier League player, but he's a cut above the Championship. So it's baffling, really. It's baffling. How can a player do that? I mean, last season, let's look at his stats. He played 46 games, started 44 of them. He had 21 league goals with an expected goals of 22.1. So he was clinical, and his scoring frequency was 0.5 goals a game, and he scored every 179 minutes. His shots on target per game were 1.4. He had just over 3 shots a game. He also had 13 assists, which goes really unnoticed last season. His assist was mental because the expected assist was only 8, so he way outperformed his assist output last season. We played him coming in off the right. I'm not quite sure what West Brom are going to play, what sort of position West Brom are going to play him in, because obviously they've got decent wingers, like they've got Fellows. Um, they're a good side. That I'm just trying to figure out where he plays, because they also, in the window, I forgot to mention, they also signed Will Lancashire on loan from Spurs, and he's a sort of gangly striker, if you will. Um, you've got your Dean Garners and your Fellows on the wings. Maybe, I don't know. Does he push one of them out? It's tough. I feel like Adam Armstrong's best position in this West Brom team is coming off the right, as it was for us. He'd moan about it. He hated playing off the right. He wanted to be a through the middle striker. It's just not his bag. If he's got a winger on the left, a big man in the middle, or at least someone strong, they don't have to be big. We showed that with Shea Adams, but someone strong through the middle, he sneaks in like a ghost off the right, and he kills defenders. And he's so good coming in off the right hand side. He either finds himself bang in the middle to tap one in, he's great on his left foot, or he absolutely lollops it across the keeper with his right. So that for me is his best position. The reason he's been caught out this season is purely because of the quality. There's nothing else. He's a good player. It's just the step up is so huge. Apologies. So I think the best role for him is playing on the outside of Lancashire or Madger, in the middle. I don't think he should be playing through the middle. I don't think he will play through the middle. I think it's a great deal. I think it's a really, really good deal for West Brom. I mean, there's 16 games left, is there, in the Championship? They've got a chance, They're on 44 points, West Brom. They're not going to go up automatically. I think the teams above them are too strong to do that. The teams above them being the top three. It's quite a similar story to last season, in this like a 3 to 4 horse race going on at the top. You've got Sunderland still in there on 58 points at the moment. Leeds on 63 at the top. So, I mean, it's crazy with 16 games to go. West Brom, I really fancy them to get in the playoffs. The only real competition I feel like they have in being knocked out of there, personally, I think is probably Middlesbrough. I know that's quite unfair at this point because it's so tight. Like, you've got Coventry on an unbelievable run. I mean, from 14th place to 6th, there's 4 points, which is absolutely wild. I mean, the playoff race is going to be crazy. I can't wait to watch it. But I really think the signing of Adam Armstrong, he could. The crazy thing is, you've got 16 games left. Your next 5 games, you've got Wednesday at home, Blackburn at home, Millwall away, Leeds, Oxford at home, and Leeds away. There's a good chance Armour scores in at least 3 of that. He could get you at least 10 goals before the end of the season, which is honestly, it's not beyond his capability. And to say, it's only 10 goals, but like, look at it, like 10 goals in this could be the difference in terms of, do you get a playoff spot or not? Look at how tight the goal difference is between them and Middlesbrough, for example. Middlesbrough on a +10, they're on +12. West Brom, they seem to be a cut above the rest on goal difference. If it comes down to it, that could be the difference that keeps them in. And my Lord, would it be sweet for you lot if Adam Armstrong takes you to Wembley and does what he did for us and scores the only goal to bring you up to the Premier League again. Oh, if that happens, he definitely joins you on a permanent, and I would wish him nothing but the best because he wouldn't be playing against us. So yeah, I think West Brom fans should be bloody excited. It's a great move for them. It gets Armstrong playing minutes at the least, and worst case scenario, he plays minutes, he gets you a few goals. You don't quite go up, he comes back to us next season and scores hatfuls of goals like he did season before. Yeah, I really wish him the best at West Brom. I'll be watching you closely. I really hope you do well. Yeah, get involved, get in the comments. Let me know what you think, West Brom fans, about the signing of Adam Armstrong. Saints fans, let me know what you think. Was it the right thing to let him go, given how dwindling our attacking options seem to get every single week? Or was it the right thing to let him go and get minutes and prepare for next season, because we're basically down already? Is that a public admission that we were going down? Is that a public waving of the white flag by the board? Is it embarrassing? You let me know what you think. There's many ways you could spin this plate. I'm pleased for Adam. I'm pleased for all the boys that are on loan. I hope they come back stronger next season, and they can give us a real good contribution as they did the season before, in trying to get back up to the Premier League. That is going to be all from me today. If I had to give a rating for this transfer window for Saints, I would give it probably a 5. We're missing a lot. There's some big holes in the squad. We've got not near enough quality. They didn't add near enough quality. We're going to be talking about this in a couple of months' time. That Ivan Juric has been absolutely cucked with the quality that he's been given. So yeah, I think it's a shite window personally, but it's over now. We're going to go down. It's just roll on the rest of the season, I suppose, and keep an eye on the boys that are on loan and enjoy them because they're going to do well. They're going to do really, really well. That is going to be all from me today. If you enjoy the content I'm posting, please, it really helps if you like, if you sub. It's free. It won't take you very long to do so. And doing that just pushes me onto recommended pages for other people who enjoy watching the same thing as you. Thank you very, very much. Once again, have a fucking brilliant rest of your week. And I will speak to you in a few days' time.